Britain's obesity rates are at an all-time high, and there seems to be no sign of it slowing down. We hope to find out the reasons as to why, and we look into how the growing problem can be counteracted. World obesity has more than doubled in the UK since 1980, with 35% of adults overweight and 11% of that category obese. This growing problem continues to cost the taxpayer money and has now become a monumental part of society, costing £6 billion a year in Britain alone.
Health is a massive issue throughout the world in general. I would say that a lot of people don't value it enough as being important. There's the lack of education in schools. Even when you go through university and college, there's no real sort of basic understanding of like health. We just have food and nutrition and food tech when you're at school, right? You learn how to make pizza or whatever it might be, and it's not really giving you the knowledge that you need in terms of nutrition.
Did you know that 100 grams of chocolate has 6 times the amount of sugar than 100 grams of fruit salad? 100 grams of chocolate is 1/3 of a woman's daily calorie intake. Look at these other comparisons. I think you'll be surprised. We asked Harley why in today's society fitness isn't a priority.
I would say overall a lot of people just come up with the excuse of not having enough time. I think it's not even down to going to a gym. It comes down to doing any fitness whatsoever. I think if you're not doing a team sport, an activity that's a social thing after your work, school, college, uni, whatever it might be, I think everyone just comes up with the excuse of there's not enough hours in the day, I'm working, I've got family commitments, I want to be social, all that stuff. You just don't put fitness as a priority, and I think more people should, because it feels like it's a chore for a lot of people, and I think there's a lack of knowledge there as well, especially when it comes to nutrition.
The marketing of some foods is designed to lure customers in through the use of wordplay, colourful packaging and big logos. These techniques are used by many companies around the world. Here's Harley to give us his knowledge on the matter.
If you pop protein, if you write the word protein on yogurt, people will buy it. Whereas if it's just a normal yogurt, people are less likely to buy it. It's exactly the same thing as saying low fat or diet or sugar-free. At the end of the day, that product probably had that same amount of fat in the beginning, but you wouldn't have known because you wouldn't be looking for it. To keep it very easy to understand, a lot of these companies just use it as a marketing ploy to sell people products to make them feel like they're healthy. And just because something is deemed as healthy doesn't mean that it is.
There's a stigma around going to the gym and it being a sweaty box environment where there's a bunch of egos and stuff like that. You've got no excuse to not come down to the beach at a place like this and work out outside. There's no reason you can't.
There are other reasons as to why people are overweight, reasons that are out of their control. These include genetics, slow metabolisms, and economic factors such as not having the facilities to exercise. On top of this, disabilities have an impact as people's mobility can be impaired, making it difficult for them to be active. The sugar tax has been introduced to tackle child obesity, as a quarter of children are starting school overweight. The money used from sugar tax will be used to fund sports clubs and activity centres. The sugar tax is set to be priced around 3 to 4 pence per 100 millilitre. With 11% of people in the UK being obese, it is important that the public are aware of the several health risks associated with the disease. The second biggest cause for cancer in the UK is obesity, yet many people are unaware of this. Aside from cancer, obesity carries the risk of sleep apnea, a serious sleeping disorder that occurs when a person's breathing is interrupted during sleep; diabetes, an elevated level of glucose in the blood due to the body's inability to respond or produce insulin. It is also a cause of high blood pressure, which can lead to heart attacks. On top of this, obesity is linked to a number of psychological problems such as depression and physiological problems such as osteoarthritis, when the joint is under too much weight strain, causing swelling and pain. Some of you may be wondering, what is more important, diet or exercise? Let's go to Harley to hear his thoughts.
Overall, I would say it's a very open question. So in my personal opinion, I would say that nutrition is probably more of a priority over training, because people can train all day and all night and overwork themselves, or they can train really inefficiently, or they can just not be doing the right exercises, not have the understanding of what they're doing. People that are training incorrectly and thinking that by running on a treadmill for an hour each day is going to get them to lose weight, but then they'll go home and eat a large burger and salad because they've got a salad on their plate, they'll feel better about it. You can still be fit and healthy down to nutrition rather than just working out all the time. You can eat whatever the hell you want and go to the gym, but it's going to have a knock-on effect on your workout. Whereas if you're not working out but you're eating well, it's not the end of the world. You're just not going to make those gains, so to speak, that you would be after if you were doing both those things. The foods that are meant to be healthy aren't necessarily as healthy as people think they are. That's all I'm going to say. So, you know, your diet sodas are no much more healthy than a normal soda, so to speak, in terms of calories they might be, but in terms of what you're putting in your body, overall balancing out the health, I would say just avoid as much as you can and try and balance it as best as you can.
Here's some tips on what foods to look out for on the shelves and how to prep your meals.
I like to conveniently get everything done at the end of the week so it's ready for the following week, otherwise known as meal prep. I always like to think of a typical plate of food as being 50-50 of protein to veg, i.e. micros, and then you have a small portion of carbs depending on what your goal is. In terms of foods that are high protein, low fat, high carb meals, my best advice would be to go for something natural, like a white fish, for example. A protein such as turkey or chicken is really great as well. Raw steak, things like that. There's a whole majority of high protein meats. So all it comes down to at the end of the day, guys, is calories put in. So you either eat more foods that you want and you do more exercise, or you do less exercise and you manage your calories more effectively so you're having less calories.
After hearing from a professional, we asked the younger generation on what they think about healthy foods and obesity.
Yeah, I think all children should eat healthy food. I don't really like it because it tastes kind of dull and like there's nothing to it, no flavour. But at the same time, they could have like a sugary snack like once a week. I play cricket, I've played football, I do like doing tennis. I like quite a lot of stuff.
After speaking to professionals and the younger generation, we've established that obesity is a growing problem in the UK that isn't slowing down. The problem continues to grow with more people staying at home and not being active with a nutritious diet. We hope that after seeing the health risks and benefits of a healthy lifestyle, it makes you question how you treat your body.